It's a good lesson for us to know that our movies can last and can have this kind of impact. And I always try to keep that in mind.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
You know, I'm always curious about lessons that people learn earlier in their career that really stick with them on their newer projects. This year obviously marks the 30th anniversary of one of my favorite movies, Dances with Wolves. I'm curious, what did you learn on the set of that movie as an actor, as a director, that you carry with you even today, even on the set of a movie like Let 'Em Go?
Yeah, well, I learned a lot as an actor-director because I've only directed 3 movies over the course of my career. I'd like to direct more as I play out the second half, but I didn't give myself a lot of takes. I gave everybody else in the movies a lot of takes, and I I feel like I rushed myself all the time because I was just moving to something else, and I was thinking, okay, I'll be all right. I know what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't really give myself, I think, enough time. So I've learned that. I think probably, directorially, I'd like to try to play things more in one. I think there's so much coverage these days that the camera is always cutting back and forth, and we're all guilty of it because in feature films, running length became kind of the real god. Everybody was trying to, get your movie under 2 hours, even get it lower than that. Which a lot of stories for me lose their subplots when they have to lose time. And the reason you do coverage is because you can make a scene go faster. And so, and if you do it in one, it's the length of the scene is the length of the scene, obviously. So I think I'd like to do more of that directorially. I like seeing actors on screen together, them reacting, whether one's back is to the camera is not the worst thing in the world.
I'm not sure if you've heard, but we're very excited about this here in Chicago. The White Sox are going to be playing in Iowa next year at the Field of Dreams. And I'm just sort of curious, thinking about your experience making that movie, what was an experience that you had on that field, a memory that you have that you hope that our guys have, that they get to experience whenever they play there next year?
Well, there's a scene where I talk, I think, to Shoeless Joe. I'm with Amy, and it was before people were using a lot of special effects, and this kind of weird little fog rolled in, and it just hung there long enough for us to do our scene, and then it just drifted away. And I always remember that it just hung around long enough it was at night. It was kind of quite beautiful, and obviously on the set. Sometimes some of the most interesting things for me are what happens when the camera's not rolling. And some of the conversations I had with Burt Lancaster were, memorable to me. And I made some good friends on that movie. It's a good lesson for us to know that our movies can last and can have this kind of impact. And I always try to keep that in mind.
I'm watching you in this film, and I'm thinking about all the skills that you've learned, throughout your entire career, really, because you're so natural in so many different aspects. Whether over the career you've had to learn, obviously, how to fight, how to shoot, how to ride a horse, whether it's how to properly throw a baseball. I'm just sort of curious. Those skills don't go away that you learn just because a movie is over. So I'm curious, what is the greatest sort of skill that you possess today as a man that you learned because you were playing a character who needed to know how to do it?
Probably, I would say sword fighting. When you talk about some of those traditional things, I mean, I'm just a kid from the streets, from a public school kid. I was born in Compton, and we play, you made up your games in the street, no chips on windows, and basketball. We just didn't come home till the street lights came on. And so, I was able to bring a lot of what I dreamed about doing to the movies and what I was able to do. I mean, I don't take on an athletic movie if I don't think I can pull it off, because there's nothing worse, actually. I mean, I wouldn't do a hockey movie. I like hockey, but I don't know how to skate. So
right.
It's useless for me to go, well, I can outact that. You can't. It's Olivier, Daniel Day-Lewis, maybe our greatest actors. If you can't kick a ball, if you can't throw a ball, you cannot out that. And right away. There's something ballet about the athletic move that anybody that plays a sport understands it.
You know, I think we should all be so lucky as to have someone who looks out for us, who protects us, who cares for us the way that you and Diane Lane care for your grandson in this film. I was wondering if we could maybe apply that to you. Earlier in your career, when you were starting out and trying to figure out this business, who was the co-star or the director or the person who you feel maybe most looked out for you, most protected you, and most guided you?
Well, I think you could start with Larry Kasdan on that. And Ron Shelton. I just think they were guys who were very vested in me. But all the directors, I think, paid attention to me. You know, Brian De Palma in Untouchables was, you know, was sweet. But I think it's Larry Kasdan and Ron Shelton were the ones that really helped, you know, kind of helped the trajectory not only of my career but helped me. I just really enjoyed that. Took a lot from both of them.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.